Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of the SWAS. We're on to Wednesday night. We got 3 games on the board. We're talking Maction Week 12. Let's do it.
I mean, is Cooper Rush worth 2.5 points?
I would hope Quinn Ewers put up a decent stat line against Arizona State. If he didn't, we have a real problem.
You can say the same thing about Creighton. Okay, they had the one good game against Kansas at home.
When Toast talks about the kicking market, it's like some earth is flat shit. Andy, true or false, this is going to be a dog walking.
Dog walking. This is my dog walking of the day. I think it's going to be very ugly. Dog walking. I think this is going to be ugly.
Hey, get the sauce.
All right, we're starting off with Northern Illinois UMass. And you might be wondering, Kyle, why is there a Sam Houston State, Oregon State final score graphic on the screen? Sam Houston State goes into Corvallis, beats Oregon State 21-17. The reason we're bringing this up, that win put UMass in a category of their own. Because Sam Houston won a football game, UMass now becomes the only remaining team without a win. They're sitting at 0-9. So 3 more opportunities here for UMass to avoid the dreaded 0-12 season. Now, they're at home. They're big underdogs, but this is somewhat winnable. Northern Illinois has had serious problems offensively all year. They're actually dead last in success rate, 136th, 134th in PPA per play. Now, UMass defense, 132nd and 116th. But yeah, Northern Illinois is legitimately one of the worst offenses in the country. I will say it did look like Northern Illinois was showing some signs of life. The run game was there for 2 games. Keep in mind, up to this point, they had not done anything offensively. Their offense has been pretty much awful all year. And then there was a 2-game stretch against Ohio and Ball State. They averaged over 5.2 yards per carry, over 49% success rate per rush, over 218 rushing yards per game. I like the coach's quote on it, Hammock. He said, "We came in and chose violence." So that's the team Northern Illinois wants to be, by the way, a physical run game. And it was there for exactly 2 games. Disappeared quickly because following that, they went to Toledo and wow, they didn't do anything. They were held to under 2.3 yards per carry, 28.1% success rate per rush, 62 rushing yards in the game. Now, Toledo has arguably the best defense in the conference, but certainly not what they wanted to see. It looked like they finally found something in the form of a run game, and it disappeared quickly. So I guess the question is, will they be able to recapture that physical run game that they found here against UMass? This poor UMass defense can't catch a break. So it finally looked like they were getting it together. Week 7 and 8, 2 run-first offenses. That's who UMass played. They held Buffalo and Kent State to 3.33 yards per carry, 115 rushing yards per game. It finally looked like UMass was getting it together defensively. Then linebacker and leading tackler Timmy Hinspeter out for the season. Team just can't catch a break. And since their leading tackler got injured, they're back to getting run on. On their last 2 games, they're allowing over 5.2 yards per carry, 51% success rate per rush. Looks like they might be getting safety Darian Craig back, who's an important piece of that defense. He came back for the Akron game, only played 35 snaps, but it looks like he is back from injury. Look, this Northern Illinois offense is bad. Like I said, it's one of the worst in the country. UMass has limited explosive plays, though. So, yeah, I think Northern Illinois should be able to move the chains in this one. They're going to hand the ball off and probably have some success. I'd be surprised if it's an offensive explosion, though. Like I said, I mean, this isn't a very good offense. They're a physical run game. I'm sure they'll be able to move the ball a little bit, but it's not very good. On the other side of the ball, this is where the edge goes to Northern Illinois because this is the strength of the team. Northern Illinois' defense is by far the strongest unit in this game. I mean, by far. 92nd in success rate, 87th in PPA per play. As I'm sure you know, the UMass offense has been pretty terrible. 132nd in success rate, 136th, dead last in PPA per play. Now, I got to say this UMass offense is finally healthier. They've been playing the last month without their main running back and main receiver. Rocco Griffin, the running back, he's back. Wide receiver 1, Jaquan Gibson, is also back. Now, look, this offense looked bad before they got injured, so I'm not suggesting that they get their running back and wide receiver back and all of a sudden this is a good offense. I'm just saying when we're looking at the recent body of work here for UMass offensively, they were playing without their RB1 and their wide receiver 1, literally their main 2 weapons. So having those guys back, maybe that helps. But the thing is, this Northern Illinois defense has really handled their business against the lower tier MAC teams. They got absolutely lit up twice, at Ohio, at Toledo. two of the best offenses in the two of the best offenses in the conference, both on the road. In their other MAC games, I mean, they were pretty elite defensively against Miami of Ohio, Eastern Michigan, Ball State. So I don't know. Maybe there's a little bit of value, a little bit of a buy low on UMass because they were so injured, but Northern Illinois is pretty strong defensively. I'm really not sure what to do with this one. UMass only has 2 realistic chances to get in the win column. It would be this game and then Bowling Green in week 14. They go on the road, I think, to Ohio in their next game. They're not going to win that one. So this is one of the last 2 remaining chances for UMass to win a football game. Maybe a little bit of a buy low on the offense. I don't think Northern Illinois is good enough offensively to be laying double digits on the road. So it would only be UMass plus 11.5. I would probably make the game 9.5. Like, I can't do this. I didn't pull the trigger on this. It would only be UMass for me, though. Toledo, Miami of Ohio in what is a big game here. We all remember what happened in week 9. Toledo goes on the road to Pullman, and they were actually favored in the game. They closed, I think, as a 1.5-point favorite here in Pullman. They got their ass beat by Washington State. 28-7 was the final score. It seems like the bye week was exactly what the doctor ordered for this Toledo team because they got right back on track, 42-3 against Northern Illinois in their following game in week 11. So it looks like Toledo did get back on track. They're currently in a win or go home situation here against Miami of Ohio. They're sitting at 3-2 in conference. If they pick up a third MAC loss, they will not be playing in the MAC championship game. I believe Miami of Ohio can still mathematically get in with a loss. I'm recording this before Ohio's about to play Western Michigan, which is obviously a huge game with MAC championship implications. So I don't know what's going to happen in that game, but I believe Miami of Ohio can lose and still be in it with 2 losses. So, but Toledo, this is a winner go home situation when it comes to the MAC championship game. We're talking about a Miami of Ohio team that's coming off an emotional loss. They go on the road to Athens. They had the lead, 2 fourth-quarter turnovers to lose in their revenge game. They were trying to get revenge from last year's MAC championship game. They fall short. So this is a Miami of Ohio team that's coming off a heartbreaking loss. They had a fourth-quarter lead here. So how do these two teams match up? So I mentioned how Toledo's offense looked back in the Northern Illinois game. They won 42-3. The thing is, that's not new. That game was at home, and 42 points was actually their lowest total in a home game this year. They're currently 5-0 at home, this Toledo team. They're averaging over 47 points per game, over 7.6 yards per play, over 53% success rate. So this offense has been electric at home all year. The problem is they're going on the road. They have not won a road game yet this year. They're 0-4 on the road, and look at their offensive numbers. These are the craziest home-away splits I've seen this year. Toledo's offense on the road, they go from averaging over 47 points per game at home to 14.8, under 4.8 yards per play, success rate under 36%. So based on these splits right here, Toledo's offense at home, electric. Toledo's offense on the road, absolutely terrible. Now, let's be fair and point out the opponents. They played Akron, Kent State, Western Kentucky, Morgan State. I mean, on the road, they played Kentucky. Western Michigan's defense has been excellent. Bowling Green's had a solid defense, and then Washington State. So they played tougher opponents in the road game, but still, this is concerning. This Toledo offense hasn't quite looked the same on the road, and this is not just any road game. Miami of Ohio has one of the best defenses in the conference. They're 68th in success rate, 49th in PPA per play. We just saw this Miami of Ohio defense go on the road to Athens against one of the best offenses in the conference in Ohio. Keep in mind, Ohio is 22-1. This Ohio team is absolutely dominant at home. They're the reigning MAC champions. They held Parker Navarro in check. Held Ohio in Athens to under 5.5 yards per play, under 44% success rate. This Miami of Ohio defense is strong, and Toledo's been struggling to run the ball consistently. In their last 4 games, they're averaging less than 4 yards per carry, under 37% success rate per rush. Now, their RB1, Chip Trainum, didn't play in 2 of these games, and he is now back. So not having their main running back, I'm sure, contributes to this. But I'm not sure if I trust Toledo to go on the road into Miami of Ohio and run the ball. And this is a Miami of Ohio defensive front that can generate pressure without sending extra rushers. Tucker Gleason has struggled under pressure. He tends to hold on to the football. I think Toledo's offense is going to struggle in this game. I mean, you could say Miami of Ohio's defense just emptied the tank last week in the biggest game of the year on the road in Athens against Ohio. That was the best football they can play, and they still came up short. So maybe they come out flat in this one. I suppose you could say that, but I doubt it. This team is well coached, and this is a very good defense. I think Toledo's going to struggle to move the ball. Tucker Gleason's been playing extremely well, but let's not forget what happened in his last road game. On the road in Pullman, he did not play well at all. So, yeah, I think Toledo's going to struggle to move the ball. On the other side of the ball, though, this is where Toledo has the huge edge. I mean, this Toledo defense has been 7th in success rate, 1st in the country in PPA per play. And Miami of Ohio's offense, I don't even think these numbers do it justice. This is not a very good offense. They're 75th in success rate, 73rd in PPA per play. They lost their star running back, Kenny Tracy, for the season. And they've just been so reliant on Daquan Finn being a hero. I mean, that's pretty much the only thing this Miami offense does is when Daquan Finn is making crazy plays. You look at the games since their running back, Kenny Tracy, got hurt. They're averaging 4.47 yards per carry, over 175 rushing yards per game, 40% success rate per rush. You might be looking at these numbers thinking, Kyle, these rushing numbers don't look bad at all. Well, keep in mind, this is a run-first offense. So you play Ohio, Eastern Michigan, Akron. Western Michigan's defense is strong, but they haven't exactly played the strongest defenses in the world. This is a run-first offense, and the rushing numbers just aren't that efficient. Now, Daquan Finn has been all right throwing the ball, a 103.6 NFL passer rating in the last 3 games. He hasn't been bad, but he's not really picking secondaries apart from the pocket like that. His passer rating from a clean pocket, not that great. Toledo, just like Miami of Ohio, they're capable of generating pressure without sending extra rushers. I think they're able to give Daquan Finn all kinds of problems in this game. Toledo is the much stronger team. I think this number's warranted, laying 3.5, 4 on the road. I would need a flat 3 to actually do it, but I think Toledo wins this game. So it'd be Toledo for me, but I would need a flat 3 to actually do anything with this one. Buffalo is on the road in Mount Pleasant. Somehow, I don't know how, and it certainly doesn't feel like it because Buffalo's been so disappointing this year, but somehow Buffalo is sitting at 4-1 in conference and still very much alive in the MAC championship race. You look at this team's body of work since week 3. Look at this 6-game stretch here. They almost lost to Kent State. They lost to Troy. They lost to UConn. Both those games were at home. They almost lost to Eastern Michigan. Eastern Michigan went for 2 in overtime. That's how they won that one. They played a 1-possession game against UMass where they needed to come from behind in the last several seconds of the game. UMass almost won that game. Remember, that was the game UMass celebrated early and tweeted out the win. So they almost lost to UMass. They lost to Akron. So you look at this 6-game stretch, not very impressive at all from this Buffalo team. And even last week, 2 weeks ago in week 10, they won 28-3 over Bowling Green, which was a dominant win. But their offense is still extremely concerning. Even in their 28-3 win over Bowling Green, 5.53 yards per play, success rate under 37%. So this offense is still unreliable. Now they're going into Mount Pleasant to try and move the football on a Central Michigan defense that looks pretty strong. Remember, coming into the season, it wasn't Central Michigan's defense that we were concerned about. They returned a decent amount of production from last year's defense, and the switch over to an option offense should put the defense in better position, right? Holding on to the football, controlling the clock. So it wasn't Central Michigan's defense that we were worried about this year. It was the offense. Their linebacker, Jordan Kwiatkowski, one of the best defensive players in the MAC, one of the best defensive players in the conference. He was 2nd team all MAC last year. So this Central Michigan defense is not a joke. They're 71st in success rate, 54th in PPA per play. If you look at their defensive numbers specifically in their conference games, they're allowing less than 17 points per game, 5.06 yards per play. I mean, the criticism of this defense, if you're trying to poke holes in the Central Michigan defense, you could say they haven't played Ohio. They haven't played Toledo. So they've kind of dodged the 2 most elite offenses in the conference. The best MAC offenses that they've seen, Eastern Michigan and Akron, I'd say. And those are still above average MAC offenses, but that's the criticism you could throw at Central Michigan's defense is they haven't seen the elite teams of the MAC. But Buffalo is not an elite MAC offense. We were just talking about this Buffalo offense has had problems all year. I mean, I suppose if you're looking at Central Michigan's defense against the run in those same MAC games, 4.35 yards per carry allowed, 42.2% success rate per rush. That's exactly what Buffalo does. They're a run-first offense all the way. So I do think Buffalo is able to move the chains in this game, but I doubt we'll see a huge offensive explosion in this one. They're going to have to work for points in this game. This Central Michigan defense is pretty strong. It's on the other side of the ball. This is where the advantage swings over to the Buffalo side. Buffalo's defensive front, that's the part of the team that's been as good as advertised. Remember, coming into the season, Buffalo was very hyped. The offense has just shit the bed. The offense has not lived up to expectations. The defense, specifically their defense against the run, most definitely has. They're 14th in success rate per rush, 33rd in PPA per rush. They're playing a Central Michigan offense that's 5th in the country in rushing frequency. Remember, their head coach is Matt Drinkall. He's an Army guy. He was the Army offensive line coach last year. They run an option offense, a slow-paced, run-first offense. Buffalo's defense is a nightmare matchup for Central Michigan. Look at Buffalo's numbers against the run in their last 4 games. They're allowing 3.42 yards per carry, 31% success rate per rush. I mean, this is a Central Michigan offense that has to win the battle on the line of scrimmage to have success. If they're not generating push on the line of scrimmage, Central Michigan's really going to struggle to move the ball. So I think Buffalo's defense can play a great game here. We should see a lot of running the ball. The clock should be continuously running. I did take this one. I'm on the under at 43.5. It moved against me. I don't understand it. We should see 2 teams running the football a lot, 2 teams struggling to do so. So yeah, I'm on the under in this one. I disagree with the line movement. I also, if you can get a +2, I don't hate the Buffalo side. I think this should be about a pick. So if you can get a Buffalo +2, I don't hate it. But as far as what I personally did, I'm on the under. Thanks for watching. Live shows at midnight Eastern time as always. If you're able to make it, we'd love to see you in the comments. See you guys later tonight. Later.